Oh, okay, I get it now. You guys want some Naruto what-ifs. I can do that. Hello lads, lassies, and those of unspecified gender, it's the Irishman here, and today, I'm going to be talking about what would have happened if Minato no Mikaze was part of the Uchiha clan. See, Minato was already an incredibly powerful shinobi while being some unknown clan member, but here he's going to be part of one of the strongest, most known clans in all of Naruto. So I think the first thing we definitely need to go over is power scaling. So right off the bat, as a kid, Minato would be much stronger, possibly even up to the level of Jonin. I know it might sound insane, but if you think about it, someone like Itachi as a kid was able to rise through the ranks, being an Anbu member at age 12, and Minato, well, he was already an insane prodigy similar to Itachi, but now putting him into the Uchiha clan known for breeding prodigies, it's not too outlandish. When Minato becomes a genin, he would unlock his 2 Tomei Sharingan as well as learn multiple high-level jutsu. Minato and Fugaku would also be placed on a team, starting a rivalry between the two. Minato would also meet Jiraiya around this time and start training under the Toad Sage. When the Chunin exams roll around, he would clear it much faster and much easier than he did originally. He would also awaken his 3 Tomei Sharingan. By the time he is promoted to Jonin, the Third Great Shinobi World War is still in full effect, and Minato is on the front lines. This would cause Minato to see many of his good friends die, and in turn awaken his Mangekyo Sharingan. At one point or another Uchiha would die somewhere around Minato, and he would take his eyes, unlocking the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. When Minato sees the tailed beast bomb like in the original, it is much easier for him to copy the technique and create the Rasengan. This would mean he also has more time to try and improve it. After a while, Minato would become the leader of his own team consisting of Kakashi, Obito, and Rin. When Team Minato is created, he would have his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, much more chakra than he had originally, and a more wide variety of jutsu. Minato would also have a lot more time on his hands and would probably be able to master Sage Mode. Considering it didn't take him long originally, I don't think this is too outlandish. This means that Minato would have an Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Sage Mode, paired with everything he had originally. All of this together means Minato is basically unstoppable. He was already a high Kage level opponent, but now he could box with Hashirama and Madara. But now with the power scaling aspect of this video out of the way, let's get into the actual story of this what if. In the original, when Minato saves Kushina from the shinobi attempting to kidnap her, he just picked her up and left. Here, he would slaughter the entire squad without a second of hesitation. Minato would also kill thousands more in the Third Great Shinobi War, having had access to the Mangekyo Sharingan as well as multiple other extremely powerful jutsus. Really, every nation would be terrified of this man. Minato would also be able to tag along on the Kanabi Bridge mission, but would probably decide to stay in the shadows watching over his team. The mission actually goes pretty much the same up until the point where the rock is about to fall on Obito. Minato would swoop in, activating his Susanoo, protecting his team from the boulders falling on top of them. This is a very big moment because it means Kakashi doesn't get a Sharingan, but more importantly, Obito isn't taken in by Madara. Of course, this means Obito doesn't get Hashirama cells, and then, later on, Rin wouldn't have to die because Madara doesn't need to switch Obito to his side. And speaking of the mission where Rin died, let's talk about the mission where Rin died, because it is still pretty important. The 3 teammates would go on the mission, and it's going pretty well, until suddenly Kakashi is attacked from his blind spot, which is very large because he only has one eye. Obito and Rin are too focused on trying to fight off the Mishinobi to notice what's going on with Kakashi, whereas the 3 Tails is being sealed inside of him. When Obito realizes that Kakashi isn't there, he would freak out, amping up to the 3 Tomei Sharingan. After slaughtering the Mist Ninja, Obito would find his friend, with the sealing sadly complete. Kakashi would struggle to his feet as Obito murders the last of the Mist Shinobi. When the team returns to the village, Kakashi would suddenly scream in pain. Medical Ninja would spring into action, rushing him to the hospital, and when Minato arrives, he would see the sealing jutsu placed on his student. As fast as he could, Minato would place the 8 trigram seal on Kakashi, sealing the 3 tails away before it could get released. After figuring out what the Mist Shinobi had planned, Minato would be pissed. But at the same time, the Leaf just got another tailed beast. After time does what time does and passes, a 5-Kage summit would be held where the Kage would discuss what needs to be done to achieve peace. The Mizukage would stand up and demand that the Hidden Leaf return Isabu the Three Tails, and if they don't, peace cannot be achieved. Minato would snap back at the Mizukage saying that their forces sealed the Three Tails inside of one of the Leaf's ninja in an attempt to basically nuke the village. If they were to return the Three Tails, that means Kakashi has to die, and I feel like if it was some no-name villager, Minato would accept the offer just to stop the bloodshed, but this is his student. Minato would say that the village hidden in the mist committed a serious war crime, and unless they want the war to continue with the target on their backs, they will let the Leaf keep Isabu. Knowing that this isn't an argument they're going to win, the Mizukage would sit back down and stay quiet for the rest of the summit. This is important because it means Kakashi continues being the Three Tails Jinchuriki, and even though he doesn't have a Sharingan, this might be better. Kakashi would get his eye healed or get a transplant, and for the next year he would continue training with Obito. After some time, Kakashi would enter his mind, where he would see the Three Tails. The Three Tails was shy and timid, and seeing Kakashi he would get scared, but Kakashi would try and console him. He would know that the Three Tails was trapped inside of him, and until Kakashi dies, he would be sad and alone. Feeling bad and knowing that Isabu obviously didn't want to get sealed away, especially like the way he was, Kakashi would make him an offer. Isabu can see the world through Kakashi's new eye. He really didn't even feel like it was his anyway. It takes a bit of convincing, but Isabu actually takes Kakashi up on his offer. And then as the deal is made, and the gate separating the two is opened, Kakashi's eye would turn black with a blue pupil. Sorry, English is difficult. In return, Isabu would give Kakashi access to his chakra, and a red chakra cloak whenever he needs a power boost. Kakashi and Isabu would quickly become friends, and work together as well as having conversations with each other. But no matter how cool this isn't Kakashi's story, it's Minato's, and one day in the near future, a new chapter in Minato's story occurs, the birth of his son, Naruto. The night of Naruto's birth has a bitter cold to it. The sky is black and the moon is shining bright, as everything seems to be going as planned, much to Minato's enjoyment, but as Naruto is born, a man with blue skin and shark teeth breaks into the building as a path of destruction follows him. Black Zetsu had approached Kisame Hoshigaki with an offer, the offer of a world of peace, a world where there isn't any war, a world under the infinite Tsukunomi. Kisame would agree to go along with Black Zetsu to create this world, and now with Samehada working with him as one, as well as a transplanted Sharingan and Hashirama cells, Kisame would not only be very stacked, but also release the Nine Tails on the Hidden Leaf Village. The fight against Minato, well, it would be pretty interesting, but there are other things I need to get to first. Naruto would never be in any danger. Kushina would be being kept alive by a squad of medical nin, and Naruto would stay protected by a few skilled Uchiha. While trying to subdue the Nine Tails, Team Minato would be pushing themselves to their limits. But then, Obito would see a stray-tailed beast bomb fly straight at where Rin was helping heal damaged ninja. Obito, thinking Rin had just died, would let out a scream of pure rage and pure unbridled sorrow, and awaken his Mangekyo Sharingan. And he would then begin wailing on the Nine Tails with this newfound power. But now, onto Minato's fight against Kisame. Even though it's difficult, Minato would be able to land Rasengan on Kisame's back, as Samehada would poke out. Minato would grab the sword, and as he is about to cut his hand, Minato would throw the sword away and into the village. In his untransformed state, Kisame is still a formidable opponent, especially given all the enhancements he was given by Black Zetsu. But Minato, well, he's even more of a formidable opponent, and before Kisame has a chance to get to his feet, Minato would use the Great Fireball technique and burn Kisame to his death. After finishing the job with Kisame, Minato would rush back to the village to see Obito holding the Nine Tails off on his own. Confused, Minato would take a closer look and see that Obito unlocked his Mangekyo Sharingan. Minato would realize something has to have happened to either Kakashi or Rin, maybe both of them. But then, after looking around the rubble, he would see the remains of a toppled building beginning to shake. Then a large amount of chakra would spiral around. Obito and even the Nine Tails look over as a chakra avatar of the Three Tails is summoned, with Kakashi and Rin standing on the inside of it. Obito would begin to tear up, getting a bit of that pesky dust in his eye when he realizes that Ren is still alive. And then Kakashi would shoot a tailed beast bomb straight at the Ninetales, which is actually able to render it partially subdued. Minato would look proudly upon his team, before then activating his Susanoo, and then subduing the Ninetales, sealing it away inside of himself, protecting his village. There would be many less casualties than in the original, since Team Minato was there to try and help defeat the Ninetales, rather than Hiruzen doing it all on his own. Now, Hiruzen would still use his Monkey King Inma staff to push the Ninetales outside of the village, but after that, Team Minato kind of had it handled. And then after Minato stepped in, there was really no contest. Now, I don't think Kushina would die without the Ninetales, but I know there are other people who disagree with that, so half of it might have to be sealed inside of her. But if you agree with me, then Minato would have the full Ninetales. So there would be much less hate going around in the village since there would be less casualties and less families split apart. Plus, the Uchiha would never get blamed for the incident since Minato would know who did it. Plus, he would still be the Hokage and he would be able to vouch for his clan. And then that means no Uchiha massacre, no Uchiha coup, and everything is going pretty well. And then we would enter an era of peacetime, seeing as Minato would take out any threat to the village. Orochimaru would be disposed of the second Minato hears about his human experimentations, and then the Akatsuki, well, it would likely never form. Obito is the person that transplanted the Rinnegan into Nagato, and without the Rinnegan, well, Nagato probably isn't escaping his encounter with Hanzo the Salamander. So sadly, all of that team, Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan, well, they die. They die brutally. And then the rest of the Akatsuki, well, they'd probably just be S-Class Missingnin. Aside from Itachi and Kisame, of course, because Itachi would be a good boy chillin' in the leaf, and Kisame, well, he already died. It is possible Toneri comes to Earth, but I don't see that happening, seeing as without Nagato having the Rinnegan, the Geto statue would never be summoned and quote-unquote stolen from the moon. But then pretend for a second that Toneri actually does come to Earth. He would be facing Minato, who would have half, maybe the entire Ninetales, dual EMS, perfected Toad Sage Mode, and he'd be in his prime. And Prime Minato is something we never got to see. In its own right, he'd be incredibly overpowered. But then give him all of the other hacks he has? Yeah, no, he's unstoppable. And then you have the rest of the Uchiha clan, which some of its most notable members. Let me list them off. Itachi Uchiha, in his prime. Shisui Uchiha, in his prime. Naruto and Sasuke Uchiha, in their prime. Fugaku Uchiha, a little bit past his prime, but he also has dual Mangekyo Sharingan. It does not matter. But the list doesn't end there. You would also have prime dual Mangekyo Sharingan Obito and Three Tails Jinchuriki Kakashi, who would be training with each other for 30 plus years. So no, Toneri does not come out of this alive. And that's also how it goes for Momoshiki and Kinshiki, even after fusing. And yeah, even Ishiki, he boxed with Baryon Mode Naruto. That does not matter. After the Ninetales attack, not much interesting stuff actually goes down. The village is incredibly overpowered, and there would just be a long time of peace. Konoha was a world superpower, and any threats to it would be taken out very easily. And there would be no wars, since, like I said, Konoha was a world superpower, and could end that just like that. Anyway, that's the end, folks. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. And turn on post notifications. That way you are notified anytime I upload any new content just like this. Anyway, I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome day. This is, always has been, and always will be, the Irishman. So long, folks.